tonight, going down.
I'm here today because I understand it's dropping, so that's why I'm here.
And looking better.
We may have hit the height with the 178.
The latest take on gas prices, shaken by a war half a world away. Absorbing the shock.
So I got my recent bill from Enova, owing double what I usually pay.
Of a higher than expected bill.
We expect that we'll return to normal billing cycles in the coming weeks.
The shift with a local electricity provider that surprised. Plus,
it's not necessarily a Wilmot versus the region thing.
Wilmot takes a stand on its water.
We do also belong to the region, so the region should have everybody's best interests in mind.
The region diving into a thorny topic in search of solutions to a capacity crisis.
Good evening. A little relief at the gas pumps today. Prices dropping around 13 to 14 cents. And drivers across Waterloo region made sure to fill up, as experts expect prices will keep fluctuating in the days and weeks to come. Let's go to CTV's Colton Weens now. Live outside for more on this. Colton, what have you found out today about this ongoing situation?
Well, Tony, fluctuation is really the word. The expert I spoke with today is expecting to actually see prices to go back up again tomorrow, but he believes that we've hit the peak for just how high the prices will end up going. The president for Canadians for Affordable Energy says if you can't fill up tonight, try and wait until Friday.
The price at the gas pump dropping around 13 to 14 cents overnight in the region of Waterloo, causing lots of drivers to fill up.
I've always assumed that it was going to be going up from here on out, so getting gas as early as possible is definitely a big priority for me. So
I don't use a lot of gas, but I'm here today because I understand it's dropping, so that's why I'm here.
According to the president of Canadians for Affordable Energy, as tensions between the United States and Iran seem to be easing, the market is slowly responding.
This morning, finding new confidence in the fact that there might be some kind of an agreement that might end this conflict. It looks like it's heading more towards the direction of resolution as opposed to intensification. And so that could mean lower prices much sooner than I think many of us expect.
Prices hovering around $1.61 in Kitchener on Wednesday. McTagg says we've likely seen the peak of how high the political tensions will cause prices to go.
I think 178.9 at the top end. Of course, here in Kitchener, Waterloo, we tend to drop prices 3 cents a litre almost immediately and then drop another 4 or 5 throughout the day. But we may have hit the height with the 178.
Despite hitting the peak, McTagg says the price at the pump is expected to increase again on Thursday by about 7 cents, followed by another 7-cent drop on Friday, saying that change happens often because gas stations tend to purchase their fuel daily.
When the price drops as it did today, guess what? You're getting a 13-14 cent break that the gas station never got. So, in essence, they're selling gasoline 13-14 cents cheaper than what is in their tank. In the end, it works out. Not great for the consumers when prices go up, not bad for consumers when they go down.
But if you're desperate to save some dollars, McTagg says there is a time of the day that is best.
Never buy your gasoline before 6 p.m. because all gas stations, to a fault, drop their retail margin by the afternoon evening. And gasoline tends to be at least 5 or 6 cents a litre cheaper after 6 p.m.
So if you didn't fill up today, McTagg says anytime tonight should be great for savings, but as prices are expected to go up tomorrow, he says if you can't go out tonight, try and wait until Friday to fill up. But he also says it's usually not worth leaving the community to go to a gas station with cheaper prices. It's usually you're better off just staying in the community and filling up after 6 o'clock. Tony.
Electricity bills for some Enova Power customers may be higher than normal this month. The company's changing its billing system, which has led to delays and amounts due that are higher than customers expected. CTV's Jeff Pickle reports.
So I got my recent bill from Enova, owing double what I usually pay.
No one likes getting a hydro bill, but for some Enova Power customers, they had an added reason to not like what they saw.
I just saw my bill come through as a normal bill for my payments and that, and saw the big number being so high and wondered what happened.
Customers online taking note of the problem as well. According to Enova, the issue is a delayed billing cycle due to changes in their payment system.
And as part of that, bills have been delayed for customers in Waterloo, Woolwich and Wellesley as our billing systems sync to the new system. This is a one-time delay, and we expect that we'll return to normal billing cycles in the coming weeks.
They say in most cases, customers were unaffected, but some were left with an unusually large balance.
We're being flexible with payment due dates and waiving late payment fees for customers who are affected by those billing delays. And we do expect that everything will go back to normal in the coming weeks.
Steve Pond, who owns Elmira Vacuum, is one of these customers.
So I was quite surprised when I got a bill from Enova.
Other than a lengthy wait on hold.
And they updated you that you're the 39th caller, 25th caller.
He says the process ran smooth.
They handled it well under the process and that, yeah, so I wasn't upset with them or anything, yeah. They got my turn in line and got my call through.
Enova doesn't anticipate problems in the future, but if issues do arise, they say they are ready to help.
There's no need to panic. They can give us a call for reassurance Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., and we're happy to walk through the changes with them.
Jeff Pickle, CTV News, Elmira.
Time for a first check on the weather with Ashley live in studio. The kind of day where you might have thought you needed a winter coat and then realized you didn't need it, but then when the sun went away, you did need it again. We were kind of right on that bubble.
Absolutely, Tony. For this afternoon, when that sun hit, it was beautiful. And at one point, I actually did take my winter coat off while I was out there. But you're absolutely right. You're going to need one now as temperatures continue to drop. And of course, as we start to get a little bit more cloud cover, as we're expecting some precipitation to make its way through our region overnight. If we take a quick look at our satellite, you can see there's a big band of precipitation. Right now is sort of hovering all around Waterloo region. We're expecting the first remnants of it to hit us around midnight, and then a majority of that big system going to come through tomorrow afternoon. So get out and enjoy it while you can, because it is still quite nice out there. Right now we're sitting at 8 degrees in Waterloo region. A south by southeast wind at 15 kilometers an hour. So not too windy out there. Temperatures are sort of feeling a little cooler, around 5 degrees with the wind chill, but overall not too bad. So Tony, I would recommend folks to get out after the show, maybe go for a quick walk, because tomorrow might not be so nice.
That's a good idea while we can. Ash, thank you. A Niagara Regional Police officer shot and killed an aggressive dog yesterday after it bit one person and threatened others nearby. Police say it happened near Thorold Stone and Kalar Roads at 5:30 on Tuesday. Police say 3 large breed dogs were running around in traffic and chasing people. When police arrived on the scene, one of the dogs advanced toward the officer, pushing him into traffic. The dog was shot near this plaza. The 2 other dogs were safely captured. The Niagara SPCA attended the scene. Here's a neighbor describing what he saw.
The police showed up, and the one dog is very aggressive, and it kept backing the constable up. So he went to his cruiser and pulled out a long rifle and shot him right on Throwstone Road. And then once shots were fired, he must radio that in, and we had 7 cruisers up there. It was unbelievable.
And police say it's not clear how the dogs got loose from a yard nearby. The SPCA says it's investigating, and there are no further concerns for public safety. One day before unveiling the provincial budget at Queen's Park, word that the Ontario government will expand an HST break to home buyers. That move is just one of the things that will be launched in the province's plan to tackle troubling economic circumstances. CTV's Siobhan Morris has more.
It's a second attempt at waking up Ontario's sleepy home building industry, expanding a tax break for buying a new place introduced just 4 months ago.
We will be rebating the full HST for all new homes, no matter if you're a first-time buyer, second, or a 10-time buyer, you're getting the HST deducted.
For a limited time, buyers can knock a maximum of $130,000 off the cost of a new house or condo. The rebates scale down after a $1.5 million home. The hope is to spur construction of 8,000 new addresses.
Please, get everything together. You have 1 year.
The move costing Ontario an extra $1.4 billion. one of the line items when the Ford government introduces its budget Thursday. There's already been billions of dollars announced to support colleges and universities while scaling back OSAP grants and unfreezing tuition. There's $60 million for classroom supplies that elementary teachers will be able to pick themselves, and more cash to help connect every Ontarian with primary health care.
Look at this selection.
The finance minister choosing a Canadian-made tie to wear when delivering his spending plan. It will be the first with a full year under U.S. tariffs, a time when Peter Bethlen-Falvey acknowledges a lot of what was familiar has been upended.
Many people, are hurting. Their costs of everything is very high, and that's why we've been very focused on affordability.
Not increasing taxes as other provinces have this budget season. So no new streams of revenue coming in, and the finance minister has said his budget won't include any cuts. So in a precarious economic environment, the question is, how deep could Ontario's deficit and debt go?
They have been wasting billions of dollars on their pet projects, and now they don't have the resources and the fiscal capacity to do the things that people need.
And even with the debt approaching $500 billion, a projected deficit of $8 billion, that list doesn't stop.
We need to see some strong affordability measures in that budget. We need the government to address in a real way the hallway healthcare crisis that we have in this province.
At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
A poll commissioned by Ontario's largest public sector union finds widespread disapproval of the province's proposed changes to freedom of information laws. 60% of respondents to the poll, conducted by Abacus Data on behalf of CUPE, oppose the changes, which will see the records of the Premier, cabinet ministers, parliamentary assistants, and their offices no longer subject to public disclosure. 24% of respondents say they support the change, while 16% are unsure. Among progressive conservative voters, only 1 in 3 support the changes, with 53% saying MPPs should vote against the proposal. The Premier has dismissed criticism and argued the changes bring Ontario in line with other provinces and the federal government. The CEO of Air Canada has been summoned to appear before a parliamentary committee after he released a message updating Canadians on the Air Canada crash at LaGuardia Airport that included only 2 words in French. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver reports.
Hello, bonjour.
That was one of 2 French words spoken by Michael Rousseau in a nearly 4-minute video updating Canadians on the LaGuardia crash.
Somber day.
A unilingual message the Prime Minister said showed a lack of compassion and judgment.
We proudly live in a bilingual country, and companies like Air Canada particularly have a responsibility to always communicate in both official languages regardless of the situation. I'm very disappointed, as others are.
In a statement, Air Canada says its CEO wanted to address everyone affected and that French subtitles were used. Despite his efforts, his ability to express himself in French does not allow him to convey such a sensitive message in that language as he would wish. A decision that isn't sitting well with members of the House Official Languages Committee, who summoned Rousseau to appear by May 1st.
Unacceptable, because it's repeat the situation.
In 2021, Rousseau committed to learning French after an English-only speech before Montreal's Chamber of Commerce prompted protests and calls for his resignation, a situation that brought Rousseau before the same parliamentary committee.
I admit I made a mistake by not learning to speak French when I joined Air Canada.
Quebec's Premier wants Rousseau to resign. If he still doesn't speak French today, it's a lack of respect. Experts question why Rousseau didn't try to read some prepared remarks in French.
It's non-ideal communications. It was a communications goof, but is it a PR disaster that will have lasting impact on the brand? I don't think so.
Air Canada is subject to the Official Languages Act, and so far the Office of the Commissioner of Official Languages has received more than 790 complaints. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
The crash in New York has shone a light on a desperate lack of air traffic controllers, and not just south of the border. NAV Canada, which oversees our air traffic controllers, has acknowledged a staffing shortfall here as well. CTV's Heather Wright is looking into this shortage and what's being done about it.
More than 500,000 planes take off and land at major Canadian airports every month. The safe flow of that traffic all managed by air traffic controllers.
But we are short.
There's no doubt about it.
John Graddick teaches aviation management at McGill University and says there are not enough air traffic controllers working in Canada.
These jobs are stressful. These jobs are demanding, and they are, you tend to burn out quick in this type of job.
Air traffic controllers in the United States are being scrutinized after Sunday's fatal collision between an Air Canada plane and a fire truck at New York's LaGuardia Airport. The U.S. National Transportation Safety Board says it's too early in its investigation to determine exactly what happened. NAV Canada, which certifies and hires air traffic personnel in Canada, acknowledged it is, quote, managing workforce pressures, but declined to say how many people it is short. The organization traces its staffing challenges back to the pandemic, when air travel shut down and many controllers were laid off or took early retirement. Training classes were also disrupted. We are actively addressing staffing through a comprehensive multi-year strategy focused on recruitment, training, and retention, NAV Canada said in a statement. The agency says in 2024-2025, staffing growth exceeded attrition by 26%. But getting new workers on the job takes time, up to 36 months. Canada's transportation minister says he is working with NAV Canada to address the shortage, reiterating that air travel in Canada remains safe.
We take every precautionary measure and make sure that Canada continues to perform at the highest levels of security.
And that security, along with the challenging nature of this job, is reflected in the numbers. Last year, NAV Canada says they had 49,000 applicants, hiring just 500 into their training program. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
And stay in the know with the CTV Kitchener newsletter, the best local content from our newsroom right to your inbox every morning. We've got a look at the day's top stories, the latest forecast, and some must-see videos. You can sign up for this daily email over at ctvnewskitchener.ca. Taking vehicles off an Uptown Waterloo street up for discussion once again. Coming up, CTV's Karis Mapp tells us how the Willis Way debate and some other uptown changes are back in focus at City Council.
Well, we might see a break in the rain first thing tomorrow morning on our commutes to school or work, but don't let that sun fool you. We're in for a bit of a wet Thursday. Pack those umbrellas. Those details are coming up. Stay with us.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvkitchener.ca, your home for news.
Conversations flowing again at Regional Council tonight over ways to curb the water capacity crisis. The region's looking to tap into Wilmot's wells, but as of right now, a decades-old agreement is standing in the way. CTV's Alexandra Hollick joining us now live with more on this. Alexandra, we're talking about a policy from the early 1980s that the region is looking at suspending, and it's up for discussion tonight.
Yeah, the key word there is suspending, Tony, rather than revoking it entirely, just until the region's new water supply strategy is presented to Council next year. Now, if approved, the move would see excess groundwater pulled from Wilmot's supply as a short-term solution. But this long-standing policy stands in the way of that, limiting how much water can be taken. How the region moves forward will be discussed and decided at tonight's meeting. And earlier this week, Wilmot Council unanimously agreed to reinforce its position to protect its groundwater and have the region make well monitoring data publicly available.
It's not necessarily a Wilmot versus the region thing. One, water take permits are with the province, so there's that. But two, we do also belong to the region, so the region should have everybody's best interests in mind, which includes the impacted residents around these wells and not just the areas that they want to grow.
Several delegates are also expected to speak on this issue at tonight's Regional Council meeting currently underway, and we'll have the details from the discussion and the decision as well as the next steps later at 11:30. Tony.
Okay, Alexandra, thank you. CTV's Alexandra Hollick joining us live. As the weather gets warmer, Waterloo City Council is diving into a new conversation on ways that it might improve some of its public spaces. Among the recommendations from a community committee, taking traffic off an uptown street and opening up more patio space. CTV's Karis Mapp has more.
A sustainability committee is exploring ways to maintain Uptown Waterloo's vibrant atmosphere.
If I need to do shopping, I don't really have to go to other places. Like, everything I need is here. I think the public transport here is great. I think it is sustainable, yeah.
A report went before City Council exploring how to build on initiatives already in place to make Uptown a desirable place to be. One of the suggestions was closing down Willis Way to vehicles, making it pedestrian only, similar to Gaukel Block in downtown Kitchener.
I think that's a great idea. Over the summer, like when there's festivals, I've seen the street closed down a lot anyway.
The councillor for the ward says that particular stretch of road comes with logistical challenges.
I can definitely see some temporary closures. I don't think we're in a position at the moment to fully pedestrianize it.
The report also talked about turning underutilized parking lots into event spaces or patios.
On Willis Way, For All Ice Cream and Jin Sakaya usually extend their patio into some of the parking spots, right? So those are things we are doing, we are going to continue to do, so our businesses have great opportunity to activate.
Laurel Creek also in the spotlight, with the committee recommending the waterway become a focal point.
Make sure that we're supporting biodiversity, which the SAC report calls for, or, you know, in some cases, we just need more resting spots for people to just be surrounded by little pockets of nature.
Julie Wright said Uptown, like many places, has faced challenges in recent years, such as construction, the pandemic, and a population boom. Adding this report was a good way to get everyone on the same page.
It's a great opportunity for us to just catch up a little bit, take a breath, and strategize what we want to see, what we want to build on from all the change that we've already seen come to play.
And businesses like the sound of the recommendations.
When folks are hanging out here, whether it's events, activations, other things, they are spilling into the businesses and it's creating economic development for it.
To build a better and more beautiful Uptown core. Kara Smap, CTV News, Waterloo.
Hospitals across the country are dealing with overcrowding, and the largest health authority in New Brunswick has come up with a new way to address the issue. However, critics are taking issue with the practice, saying more needs to be done to ensure patients receive proper care. CTV's Laura Brown has the story.
Fredericton's Regional Hospital has been treating patients in its ambulance bay for over a year now. The rest of the hospital so full, it was the only space left, according to the health authority. Now they're trying to divert patients away from the hospital.
If we can avoid you having to be in the hospital, we want to do that.
New Brunswick's English Health Network has set up teams in 4 of its regional hospitals. They meet with patients who've come into the emergency department and see if their ailment is treatable from home.
Perhaps an infection going on that, IV antibiotics could be treated at home and they just didn't know that.
In 3 months, the approach has diverted 230 patients from being admitted, saving 3,600 hospital days and an estimated $3.3 million.
On my 11-hour shift yesterday, I would conservatively estimate I spent 3 hours with just a very small handful of patients and their families trying to help negotiate all the different things that they needed for elderly patients.
Emergency physician Dr. Mackay says many of his Canadian colleagues are coping with this issue, providing primary care in an emergency department.
Essentially the wrong care in the wrong place at the wrong time.
He calls this new approach good on paper, but wants to give it more time to judge its success. So does the province's healthcare critic.
There needs to be a lot more information provided of what that looks like, how that's going to work, and how we're not endangering patients' lives by sending them back out into the community where they couldn't get the service in the first place.
Among the aims is for fewer beds to be used by those patients waiting in hospital for a nursing home bed. Right now in this province, about 37% of beds are occupied by those patients. Laura Brown, CTV News, Fredericton.
Well, here's a live look outside in the Deer Ridge Drive area of Kitchener. Not too far from us here at CTV. No concern about it looking like winter. No snow for a while. I mean, a lot of it's been melted for a while now. However, still feeling like winter some of the time, especially when we have these overcast moments and you get just enough of a wind to generate a wind chill. And like Ashley and I were discussing earlier, is it spring jacket season? Is it winter jacket season? We will have the outlook for the long range forecast coming up in a few minutes. Also ahead. helping kids navigate emergency situations, how first responders in Huron County are hoping to make a difference. But next, what new data is showing about Ontario's drug overdose crisis since the closure of some supervised consumption sites? Back with Ash and our forecast, and I'll tell you, I went out today. I threw the great big, like my snowboarding jacket on, basically, like it's one of those, you know, sort of sportier winter coats.
Yes.
And then by the time I left where I had gone, I didn't even want the coat anymore.
Well, that's why I'm blazerless tonight.
Yes.
You know, it was just, I had to feel a bit more springy this afternoon because it was just so beautiful.
We had a tale of two seasons today.
a very Canadian spring,
Sure
as
thing.
they say. Yeah, it's one of those weeks, as we talked about yesterday, you're going to want to pack layers because you never know what you're going to get through the day, let alone let alone day to day. But we are in for a bit of wet weather coming up now.
We are, and the final weekend of March is almost upon us.
Which is wild.
Yeah, I know.
I cannot believe Easter's just around the corner. I mean, that's great news. If you're a summer lover like me, we're getting so close, Tony.
Means patio season must not be too far away.
Can't be too far. Fingers crossed. I'm sure our friends in hospitality around the region are hoping for it. Let's take a look outside. A little bit of cloud cover moving through, and that's to be expected. We are expecting some showers around the midnight hour. We're not going to see an intense shower around that time, or not expect it to, rather. And we might even get a bit of clearing after that passes between 3 a.m. and about 10 a.m. So when you wake up tomorrow, if the sun is shining, or if it's like how we see in that live shot, a little bit cloudy out there, but rain's not falling, don't let it fool you. Pack an umbrella. We are in for some afternoon rain tomorrow. Let's take a look at the futurecast. We can see that batch of rain coming through around midnight, clearing around 3 a.m. And then by around noon, we're really going to start to feel that rain take its hold. That's going to continue heaviest around 4 p.m., but that's going to continue to move through. And the good news is it's about a 24-hour period. So it starts at midnight tonight, looks like it'll run around midnight tomorrow night. So not too long of a system, but it will bring with it lots of rain. What's happening right now across the country? Victoria is getting a peak of sunshine of 7 degrees over the Rockies. It's snowing in Edmonton, -11. A little bit of sun in Calgary, though. And in Saskatoon, it's snowing as well, -13, and Thompson, -14. So very much feeling closer to winter vibes today, in a lot of parts of the country, than spring vibes. In Ottawa, we're sitting at 1 degree, so not too bad. Windsor is its own little planet. 13 degrees and a bit of sunshine. I think maybe we need to import some of that Windsor weather here, Tony, in the coming weeks if it doesn't start to pick up in the next few days. St. John's, sunshine and -2. Here in Waterloo region, we're sitting at a very comfortable 6 degrees, but it is starting to feel cooler now that the sun is starting to get ready to drop for the night. 3 degrees with the wind chill. So as we get into overnight temperatures, we're not looking to drop too far. 2 degrees is the expected overnight low with that bit of rain around midnight, 1 a.m. And we are looking at a nice 13-degree high tomorrow. So temperatures will be nice tomorrow. But by tomorrow night, they are going to plummet. I'll get into that in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at our almanac. Back in 2021, 20.5 degrees was reached. So a very nice day indeed. We didn't quite reach that. 8-9 degrees today. It was nice and sunny. That certainly felt closer to 20 degrees at some points through the day. 1974 -17.8 was the overnight low. So not nearly as cold as it could be. Taking a look at our 7-day forecast starting in Waterloo region. Take a look at Thursday overnight. So we're going from 13-degree high to an overnight low of -10. And of course, with rain, that could mean lots of ice. So make sure you take care if you're out in the overnight hours as those temperatures drops, or early Friday morning. Good news is, at least Friday, we will expect to see the sun make a return, a high of 2 degrees. So we're going to go on a bit of a roller coaster this week with temperature swings. In Lambton, Kent, Essex, you might see an afternoon thunderstorm tomorrow. 18 17 degrees, dropping way down to -2 overnight, and then only a 1 degree high for Friday. So a big temperature swing there. It will be a little bit of a mess, but we'll get through it as we always do. Lastly, in southern Georgian Bay, similar there, 5 degrees and rain for Thursday and sunny for your Friday. Okay, let's take a look at today's weather watcher picture sent in from Bill, who snapped this beautiful shot last week. But I have to wonder, he didn't mention in the email, is it a sunset or a sunrise?
Ooh.
Either way, stunning. What do you think, Tony?
You know, it could be either.
It
but
really could.
Because I don't know the direction his camera's pointing, I'm going to guess sunrise.
See, I was opposite. I actually think that might be a sunset
There
shot.
you go.
So, Bill, if you're watching tonight, maybe you could email us in and let us know, because it is a beautiful shot either way.
Myth bust this for us. Let us know which one it is. By the way, you mentioned a roller coaster ride for those temperatures.
Yes.
I mean, if I could make a Canada's Wonderland analogy for a minute, that
Please.
is the Leviathan of temperature swings.
I know. It's going to be a hard turn tomorrow night. So you've heard it first. Be prepared.
Yes.
Don't shoot the messenger.
That's right. That's right.
And have an umbrella handy, because you're going to need it for tomorrow.
March is a moody month, that's for sure. Thanks, Ash.
Thank you.
New data indicates more people are overdosing and possibly dying in Ontario since several supervised injection sites were closed. And that's prompted 6 former Toronto mayors to ask the province to cancel plans to close even more. As CTV's John Woodward reports, the Premier says he is not changing course.
These 6 former Toronto mayors didn't agree on much over the combined 37 years they ran this city, but they do agree on one thing: supervised drug consumption sites should stay open. Writing in a joint letter Wednesday, these decisions to close sites which provide integrated health and social services as well as facilities to test drug supply have caused much physical harm and death and have resulted in increased public expenditures without resulting in any positive impacts. The letter in response to the Ford government's move to close sites close to schools and daycares in the wake of a 2023 shooting at one site in Riverdale where a mom of 2 was hit by a stray bullet. But those closures may have led to even more deaths, according to new data unearthed by healthcare researcher Jillian Kola.
We're definitely seeing an increase in the number of calls to EMS.
She found paramedics have reported more calls for overdoses, up 69% across Ontario, 82% in Toronto, and 200% in Hamilton. ER visits had been trending down 47% before the closures, and after appeared to have risen 67%. While Ontario's chief coroner reported opioid-related deaths had risen from 108 in April 2025 to 129 the following October.
What I'm signaling is we're seeing a change in the trends, and it's going in the wrong direction.
The view from the front lines, grim.
More people are using in libraries and other public washrooms and spaces where they know people would find them.
Ontario's health minister says the replacement facilities, known as heart hubs, are working.
We're getting great outcomes from it. And we continue to see community concern with the remaining consumption and treatment sites.
Whoever the former mayors are totally wrong.
Ontario's premier saying a different study by an Alberta Crown corporation justifies his decision to defund and close 6 more sites.
We're going to help these people rather than just giving them more drugs, more needles, encouraging drug use.
Around 17 people a day die across Canada thanks to a toxic illicit drug supply.
We need all hands on deck. We need treatment. We need harm reduction. We need all of these things together because we're in the midst of a massive crisis.
A crisis the numbers seem to indicate is getting worse. John Woodward, CTV News.
The Prime Minister gets taken to task on his take on affordability. Coming up, what Manitoba's Premier is challenging Mark Carney to do. Prime Minister Mark Carney said affordability is the best it's been in over a decade. But that's certainly not how it feels for many Canadians trying to put food on the table. And now Manitoba's Premier, Wab Kinew, has thrown down a challenge to Carney. CTV's Mike Lecouture has more on that challenge and reaction.
Affordability issues are always important, yeah.
The cost of living crisis continues to be top of mind for a majority of Canadians. And federal politicians could be forced to do more, in part because the Manitoba government is removing the provincial sales tax on some items at the grocery store.
This is a progressive way
to tackle the revenue system in our province, certainly. So I'd encourage the federal government to do it.
MPs from both sides of the aisle seemed open to the idea.
We are all obviously very, very sensitive to affordability issues, and obviously we'll look at any initiative coming from any corner that would make life easier for Canadians.
The government's prepared to have that conversation with us and include real measures that, cutting taxes like the industrial carbon tax. We would be very open to those conversations.
In January, the federal government boosted the former GST credit by 25% and renamed it the Canada Groceries and Essentials Benefit. The changes mean the average family of four will get nearly $2,000 in 2026 and $1,400 each of the following years. It's expected to help 12 million low-income Canadians. And some economists believe it's better to target those people.
And ensure that they have a fair amount more, hundreds of dollars more a year, as opposed to reducing the sales tax on everybody in grocery stores for those who need it, as well as those who don't.
Now, the Trudeau government did provide a 2-month GST holiday to Canadians at the end of 2024, and it cost federal coffers $1.5 billion. But the parliamentary budget officer did note it kept inflation down while it was in place. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
And recapping our top stories now with Leanne Evans in studio. Something a lot of people noticed today, a big drop in gas prices. First drop like this we've seen in a while.
Yeah, exactly. Prices dropping by about 13 cents overnight after rising to a 2-year high amid the conflict in the Middle East. But experts say those prices will continue fluctuating, likely going back up tomorrow and dropping by another 7 or 8 cents by Friday as tensions between the U.S. and Iran ease. Prices hovering around $1.61 in Kitchener today at last check. Electricity bills for some Enova Power customers may be higher than normal this month. The company is changing its billing system, which has led to delays and amounts due that are higher than customers expected. They say in most cases, customers' bills were unaffected, but some were left with an unusually large balance. Enova doesn't anticipate problems in the future, but if issues do arise, they say they are ready to help.
And from our digital team online, Leanne, details on a community drug alert that's been extended now in Waterloo region.
Yeah, and it comes after 27 suspected drug overdoses and 3 drug-related deaths reported in Waterloo in less than a week. For more information on that story, you can scan the QR code, download the CTV News app, or you can go to ctvnewskitchener.ca for that story and many more that our digital team has been working on today. Tony.
Busy team. All right, Leanne, thank you as always. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
First responders in Huron County have launched a new initiative supporting kids living through emergency situations. Here's CTV Scott Miller with more on the campaign and its significance given recent events.
Huron County has had their fair share of crashes involving kids this month. On March 4th, a school bus and transport collided south of Seaforth. 2 weeks later, at the same intersection, 2 children and an adult were seriously injured after the SUV they were in collided with another vehicle. Compassion bears may have come in handy those 2 days.
We do deal with kids that are in a difficult situation, and fire, EMS, and police are the ones that are at that scene or that collision or whatever the case may be, and we probably are the best people to hand these out and provide that comfort at that time.
250 compassion bears are now available in Huron County police cruisers, ambulances, and fire trucks, thanks to the Seaforth Optimist Club and Seaforth Knights of Columbus. The cuddly stuffed bears are meant to be distributed to kids at fires, crashes, domestic situations, wherever and whenever they might provide a moment's comfort to a child in need of comforting.
Quite often we run into incidences with young children, the parents are injured or whatnot. Having something to give to the kids to keep their minds off the situation is very beneficial to them and to the families.
In that moment, for somebody that's going through something that probably the worst day of their life, it may be something that's that little key that helps get them through the rest of that day.
Well, the girl that started this in Waterloo, her daughter was involved in an incident when she was a child, and they had these bears on the ambulance when they came to pick her up. She's 36 years old now, and she still has hers. It's a big deal.
Costello says the two service clubs have already sent 10 compassion bears to the Ronald McDonald House in London, but the rest have been distributed to frontline emergency services personnel in Huron County.
These bears are going to reach a lot of people, more than probably just Huron County.
In Seaforth, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Well, just ahead, play ball. A look at what's new inside the ballpark ahead of tomorrow's Blue Jays home opener. Okay, turns out we are 2 days away from the home opener of the Blue Jays' 50th season. It's on Friday. I thought tomorrow was Friday. It's not Friday tomorrow. But anyway, today we got a look inside Rogers Centre at the new amenities and attractions that'll be available to fans. CTV's Sean Leathong has a sneak peek for us.
From celebrating the Blue Jays' past, to the overwhelming demand for new merch, to the giveaways that connect fans with their team, this year the Rogers Centre is focused on history and hype.
What a better way to be able to celebrate that than during our 50th season.
Fans entering the stadium at the 100 level can now get up close to memorabilia from this team's rich history, like the glory years, including Joe Carter's gear from this.
Well hit down the left field line, way back
And the bat, known throughout baseball for this. Even right up to last season, with this display laying the groundwork for what will soon become a Hall of Excellence. Over at the Jays shop, they're getting jerseys ready for the opening day rush.
There's still a lot of demand, right? We're American League champs, and that's certainly something to celebrate.
American League Championship merch is moving and more, including this 50th season collaboration with Roots Canada showcasing the Jays in black and gold. There's also the stuff you get just for going to a game, with 90% of Jays home games including a giveaway. Everything from a SpongeBob jersey to the retro Domer hat.
Domer was the original Sky Dome mascot, and he's a turtle, he's adorable, his shell kind of represents the dome.
Also, a bobblehead of George Springer leaping after his home run in Game 7 of the American League Championship Series, and the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. born for this bobblehead, a nod to the now famous photo of a young Vladdy with his father while a member of the Montreal Expos. And then there's the food, each season bringing new menu items with a play on the traditional, like the Al Pastor dog with pulled pork and pineapple, or the unexpected, Uncrustables French toast.
French toast. At the ballpark. Not bad.
For stadium upgrades, the biggest is the Rogers Terrace located on the 200 level behind home plate for fans who want a more luxury experience, but
to get in here, this is a member-based club. It is sold out for the season.
With lots of room for about 1,000 fans, that is still close to the action.
And the reason why it's called the Rogers Terrace isn't just because of this large indoor area, but also you can step outside to an exclusive patio, but remember, it's members only.
With just days before the 2026 season, their home is ready to celebrate what has come before in anticipation of what's next. Sean Leathong, CTV News.
Okay, I'm already pumped to go to a game, and I don't even actually have any tickets yet for one, so I don't know when I'm going to one. But I don't know, Ash. French toast at the ballpark? I'm not sure about that one. What do you think?
I think we're spot on. I'm not sure if you caught our segment with Chef D earlier in the 5 o'clock show, but Chef D actually made French toast grilled cheeses with bacon. So I think we're right on the trend, Tony.
Okay.
And, speaking of that, we've got some weather stuff to talk about. What's happening tomorrow morning coming up after this break. Stay with us. Start your night off with E-Talk at 7, followed by Scrubs at 7:30, then The Masked Singer at 8, Fear Factor, House of Fear at 9, and cap your night off with Shark Tank at 10.
A historic verdict for Meta and Google.
It stops today. Big Tech, your gig is over.
How the social media giants reacted to the ruling on addictive apps. Full details tonight at 11. Also on Crave.
All right, Leanne is back with us for a look at what we're following for CTV News at 11:30. Leanne?
Well, Tony, we're following a regional council meeting tonight where the discussion around ways to curb the water capacity crisis is at the forefront. The region is looking to tap into Wilmot's wells, but as of now, a decades-old agreement stands in the way. The meeting is underway this hour. Alexandra Hollick will bring us the details and discussion at 11:30. Tony.
And Leanne, before we let you go, thank you for reminding me that tomorrow is not Friday.
Well, you know, Ashley and I had that conversation too, and I also was right there with you. So yeah. It's only because I realized it in the last hour. we are thinking about the weekend. Leanne, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
We will, yes, on Thursday. That's right. Thanks, Leanne. And well, Thursday morning wake-up weather will be one day closer to the weekend, and we'll be a couple of degrees closer to spring-like temps.
You've got it. It's not going to be a bad way to wake up tomorrow. With the temperatures rising really quickly in the morning, it might be around 9 degrees already by 10 a.m. However, by around that noon hour, the rain is on its way. So I can't stress it enough. Don't let that sun fool you tomorrow morning. Dress for the part. Bring an umbrella because it will hit tomorrow afternoon. But you know who likes rain? Ducks.
Yes.
Swans.
Ducks and swans. Segue master here. Oh my goodness.
You know.
A springtime spectacle drew some attention in Waterloo today. Nearly 100 tundra swans settling onto a rural pond. So here's the view from Cressler Road. Dozens upon dozens of them flocking to that pond, Ash, in the middle of a field.
Alongside the swans were Canada geese, of course, and a mix of ducks, presumably all stopping over as they head north for the season, much to the delight of a local birdwatcher.
Well, that is...
I'm not exactly sure what makes this an amazing spot. It could partially be that this is cornfield, so you know, for the swans, that is can make a nice little snack for them on their migratory route. It makes me feel so good to be out here. It's kind of like therapy. It's very relaxing.
It certainly looks it, and I was going to say that is a beautiful sight. Experts say sightings like this are not unusual, by the way, for March. Melting snow leading to ponding, and of course, the perfect stop for migrating birds.
Very cool. I don't think I've ever seen that many swans in one spot before.
No, super cool. That's our time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tonight at 11:30. Have a great night.